Hello, everyone. My name's Dan, and I'm here with my friends this evening with Corey, Tom, Sean, and Chris. And we want to welcome you to this evening's Hike-A-Thon webinar. Many of you were participants from last year will probably realize this presentation and information given herein will be a review, but there are many on here this evening who are new that we welcome you aboard. So, can we get the next slide, please? Thank you. So what's the event summary? Simply put, it's a cabinet-approved direct capital fundraiser at the unit level. In other words, fun for your unit to get out, welcome the warm weather, and an opportunity to raise funds for you and your unit, as well as camps and camp scholarships. If you could go to the next slide, please. Hello?
Hi, Scouts and Scouters. My name is Corey Groth, and I'm here with my friend Joe Lewis to tell you about an opportunity to help your unit fund its adventures in 2022. We are hosting a Take-A-Hike-A-Thon to help promote financial stability, physical fitness, and citizenship with your unit this spring. This fundraising campaign is COVID conscious, meaning it can be done completely virtually with no inventory or money to physically handle.
Sorry guys, I think we're having some technical difficulties. It sounded like the video started while Dan was talking, but Chris is our controller on the back end and he's working to fix it right now.
I was a bit confused as to what happened there. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah, I randomly started talking.
Well, hopefully we can get to that video. Here it is. Very good. Anyways, this is a video we have on the Hike-A-Thon that's available at the MCC's website, but go ahead and play it.
And I'm here with my friend Joe Lewis to tell you about an opportunity to help your unit fund its adventures in 2022. We are hosting a Take-A-Hike-A-Thon to help promote financial stability, physical fitness, and citizenship with your unit this spring. This fundraising campaign is COVID conscious, meaning it can be done completely virtually with no inventory or money to physically handle.
The way it works is if your unit chooses to take part, you will sign up on our online commitment form and we will generate a mobile cause link for you. Starting on March 15th and going through May 31st, your scouts and even adult leaders will be able to send that link to friends and family, asking them to sponsor your unit's special hike to raise money for both your unit and our council's outdoor programs with a 50% profit margin.
That's right. 50% of what you raise will be sent back to your unit in June, and 50% will support our in-council camp programs and scholarship funds for scouts in need. You may use your unit commission to support anything your unit chooses, like summer camp fees. The best part is that youth and adults in Cub Scout packs, Scouts BSA troops, venture crews, and explorer posts can participate.
We have some great incentives for your scouts and leaders as well. We will have participation patches available in a super hiker patch for any Cub Scout who receives $200 in sponsors, and any scout from our older programs who receives $400 in sponsors.
Once the sponsors have been collected, it's time to take that hike. You can schedule your own unit hike or attend one of ours. Hike coordinators will receive an event code so that your unit can register for any of the council-hosted hikes for free. These hikes will have 1, 3, and 5 mile options as well as family activities.
We will also be collecting new and gently used footwear at each of these events as a council-wide service project in support of Footprints of Michigan, a nonprofit that works year-round to provide those in need with warmth and dignity through footwear. So start cleaning out your closets today. To learn more about this campaign, join us on February 27th at 7 p.m. for an informational webinar where we will break down the campaign and answer any questions you may have.
Register today by going to michiganscouting.org/take-a-hike. And with that, we look forward to seeing you on the trail.
Thanks for that, Chris. The video, I didn't see the video play. Maybe perhaps everyone else did. I heard the audio and that was it. Regardless, if we could go to the next slide, please.
Scouts.
I still see we're on the video slide.
Yeah, it looks like the slide is stalled for a second, but while Chris is moving it back to the PowerPoint, I just want to remind everybody that you can use the chat feature if you have any questions, and we'll address them throughout the webinar. Chris, it looks like we are still on my frozen face.
What do you see now?
We just see my frozen face in the video.
Hold on. How about now?
Nope.
No, it's the same.
Huh.
Nope, but someone asked in the chat, will a recording be available? We are recording this, and we will have that posted on our Take a Hike webpage later on this week for people who missed it, or if you had to sign out early. Thanks for asking that.
What do you see now?
We are on the slide now.
All right.
We're at the event summary. So if you could go to the next one, please. We got to get forward a few. The one after Corey's video.
There you go.
I'm not seeing it. I still see that we're at the event summary. Well, regardless, to move things along, I'm going to talk a little bit about the benefits to the unit, everyone, okay? This is a zero inventory fundraiser with a 50% commission for your unit that you can apply your commission to any of your unit activities. It encourages not only physical fitness, but more so the fun and the camaraderie during the hike with your fellow scouts and scouters. Could you go to the next slide, please?
It's still not moving for us, Chris.
Well, I will continue on with the benefits for the council that everyone is partaking in here. It's going to offer. What benefits to your council? It not only helps supports the unit, yourself, your financial support, but all costs associated with the hike-a-thon, the lunch at MCC camp that's included at the MCC camps, the activities, and patches are all included. It also helps instill the spirit of philanthropy in the youth for raising funds for camps, for those camp scholarships that was spoken on during the video. And if we could, when we get to the statistics page and our shout out to the top units.
Chris, do you want me to try to share the PowerPoint from my end instead?
Yeah, Corey, for some reason it's advancing on mine, but I'm not sure why you guys aren't seeing it.
Let's see what I can try. Oops. That is not what I wanted to try. Sorry about this, folks. Almost there. All right, here's our units from last year.
Hey, here we go. So the units from last year, the shout out to the units last year, Pack 42, Troop 604B, the boy troop, Pack 1022, Pack 3373, and Troop 402G. What I'd like to take a look at is where are they from? Look at that. President Ford Division got 3 of the top 5 Great Lakes. You got to pick it up a notch. Let's get that 3 or maybe even 4. But I know President Ford's going to be gunning for us. So some of the interesting statistics, total miles hiked in that day during the hike-a-thon, 2,682 miles. Now, that is longer than the entire length of the Appalachian Trail. And if you don't know where that goes from, it terminates at, it goes from Georgia all the way up to the state of Maine. So that's a pretty impressive statistic. Nearly $25,000 was raised overall. And of that, it came from 542 donors out there within our council, of averaging under $46. So we had 180 adult participants and 63 units that participated. Next slide, please.
Oh,
so I'd like to give this over to Corey. Sorry, Corey, I'm segueing into you. This is where she'll take over and talk some more of the detail, but thank you.
That's right. And hopefully I can manage the slide rotations for us. I know it looks a little bit wonky on my screen, so I apologize for that. But I'm just going to talk about how to get moving for 2022 and how to set up your online link. So first of all, every unit needs to designate who their hike coordinator is. And your hike coordinator is just like a popcorn kernel would be for the popcorn sale. They are the liaison between the council and your unit for any communications and reports that go out during the campaign. That's the person that actually signs your unit up to participate, and we'll talk about that in a bit. They also set up your unit's fundraising page, which sounds hard, but it really isn't. They communicate reminders throughout the campaign back to the unit, report results back. They can be the person in the unit who coordinates the hike, whether it's a unit one or you're going to a council hosted one. They might register you for the council hosted one. And then, of course, they're the ones reminding the committee chair in the summer to look for that check in their mailbox. So how to register, you guys found on the website, michiganscouting.org/take-a-hike. You found your way to the webinar registration page. So that's actually exactly where you sign up to participate as a unit as well. So it's going to ask you a couple questions. One of the important ones is, who's your hike coordinator? That's who we're going to be sending emails to throughout the campaign. And the other information about who your unit committee chair is. So starting March 1st is when we're going to take the information from that sign up link and start sending you how to actually register your online link. So again, here's what that form looks like when you register as a unit to say, yes, we're committing to take part in this program. I do want to mention that if you are a staff member or a volunteer who isn't tied to a unit, you can participate as well. We did set up a team so that 100% of your proceeds go back to support our MCC camping programs instead of when you work with a unit where we split the profit between the unit. I know personally I'm taking part. My goal is to raise $1,000 and hike 50 miles during those 3 months. So I'm actually even putting together a personal blog to track my progress. So if you are one of those people out there who are not involved in a unit but want to help out and help fund some scouts to go to camp, you can text ScoutStrong18 to 71777 and you'll see my face and it'll give you the option to join my team. And if you have any questions with that, you can just shoot me an email behind the scenes. So let's talk really briefly about the timeline of this campaign. Obviously, you made it to the webinar tonight, 7 o'clock. And then March 1st is when those online links go live, and we'll talk about what that means, but that's when hike coordinators start getting the ability to set up their online program. So continuing through April is when you use your online link or your text number to collect sponsorships, and you work on planning what hike you're going to be participating in. May 7th is the first council-sponsored hike if you want to attend at Camp Rotary. And then May 31st is the last day to collect sponsorships. We will be turning that online platform off at that point so that we can make sure to get those checks out to your committee chairs. And then we'll be pretty busy with camp, rolling into camp at that point. But that way you get those funds back to be able to spend them on however it is that your unit has decided. Then on June 4th, we have the Hike-A-Thon at Gerber Scout Reservation. And then June 11th, we'll hike at D-Barre. And then down here on June 15th, Tom's going to talk about later how you wrap up your campaign. But that information is due by June 15th. All right, so here's some fun stuff here. And this is where I need to make sure I share the screen correctly. But if you wanted to check out, if you're on your laptop this evening and want to look at the hike coordinator guide, you can use the QR code reader to find it. And I am going to pull it up for you here. Are you able to see the PDF there, Dan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. So one of the things that was asked for last year from our hike coordinators is, hey, we really didn't quite understand when we got the link what to do. Could you give us some type of a guide? So that's what we've done. When we put it together, we created kind of a fake sign up so that the screenshots are there. That's why you'll see my name in there quite a bit. You'll also see my dog Paxton. She was pretty popular when we were putting this together because I needed another person. So like we talked about, first you sign up and commit on the button on our website. And then what's going to happen is the hike coordinator, you are going to get an email and it comes from noreply@mobilecause.com. For me, it came through. For some of you, it might go to your junk mail. So on March 1st, start looking for that email. And last year, I got a couple emails. People said, wait, I'm confused. I thought this was my unit page, but my name is in this link. That's correct. So it will be a unit page, but you're going to have a profile in there as the hike coordinator because you're the person who can edit it. So from there, you'll go down to edit my page and it gives you, it's really simple stuff. You can enter in information about your unit. Down here, it has, you personalize your page. You can upload an image. Some units have a logo that they like to use. And then down here, you can actually add a carousel of images. So you can post unit photos, trips you've taken. I played with it for a while to see how many photos I could upload. And at 20, it was still letting me upload photos. So there's lots of space in there. I just caution you that if people are looking at this link from their phone, it might take a lot longer to load if you have, 50 photos in there. So think about that. It gives you space to craft a message to your sponsors to say what your unit is fundraising for. So that's awesome information. And then the next step in here, I think it's important to point out, is not mandatory. Something people asked if they could do last year, and we weren't sure how to work it out, but we figured it out for this year, is you will have your unit page and your unit number that you're promoting to fundraise from, but you can also have fundraisers within your unit. So I joined the MCC staff and volunteer page, and I have a personal profile in there, and other people can join along with me, but all of the funds we raise are going to roll up into our one team. So you can have your youth and family members, adults can do this too, actually sign in and join the team. All they get to do is a profile picture and some information. They can type in what they're fundraising for. It's important to remember, though, that if you allow your scouts and family members to join your team, that everyone understands that you are fundraising as a unit. None of these funds are going back to individual people. And there's some information down at the bottom of the coordinator's guide about that. But here, Paxton is my dog. She joined the team. And then what it looks like when you go to our sample unit page, under fundraisers, you can see that Corey's raising for the unit and Paxton's raising for the unit. So you can have as many people in that group as you want to, and they can set their own personal goals. But make sure you talk with your unit about how comfortable they are with that, because some units do not feel comfortable having their children's faces out there in the internet and on social media, and that's okay. So you can do it as a unit. You can have a whole fundraising team in there. Either way works fine. All of the funds will go back to your one unit. Also in the guide here, I have that up here at the top. When I created the same unit, it automatically assigned a number, Scout Strong 16. So if you got out a phone and texted the number 71777, and that's the same for everybody, it will always be that number, and the code Scout Strong 16, you're going to get a link that goes to the sample unit. Now, each of your units, when your link is generated, you're just going to have a different Scout Strong number that you have to remember and promote to people. But it's that easy. The online donations form comes right up. And this is important. It says Scouter you are sponsoring is part of the information that they fill out. That way, if you decide as a unit not to allow people to do individual profiles, you can still figure out who raised which amount of money, which is important so that we know who your super hikers are at the end of the campaign. And then we talk a little bit in the guide about how your sponsors are being tracked. On your page, it will show people who have made contributions, and it'll use, they can click anonymous. I know I had a question last year. Someone said, man, this person really didn't want their name out there, but they didn't click anonymous. So it's important that if they don't want anyone to know their name, that they know to click that button on there. And then, so that'll show up on your page, and you as the hike coordinator will get a text message that says, hey, somebody donated $1 to your campaign. Then behind the scenes, twice a month, we're going to be sending out an emailed spreadsheet to all of the hike coordinators, so you can track how much money has come in. Now, one thing we're not able to do that people asked about last year is we cannot give you contact information for your sponsors in here, because we have no way of asking for their permission to do that on this platform. So what we're going to give you is very basic information. Team name right there would be your unit number, how much came in, and then which scout or scouter that they're sponsoring. A lot of your families will be promoting this link, and you'll see names on there that they know, right? It's going to be grandparents, teachers, whoever. But maybe you're circulating it out in your community and there's people that you don't know. So Tom's going to talk about later on a way that you can thank the people that you do know. But unfortunately, we just can't give you personal information for your donors other than this. The hike guide then goes on to talk about how to set some unit goals, how to set up your own hike if you choose to do that, and then our wrap-up information, which Tom will be talking about shortly. Let me see here. Am I showing you now our PowerPoint again? Is that back to the PowerPoint screen?
Yes, it is, Corey.
Okay, fantastic. So on Mobile Cause, which is the online platform we're using for this, it's going to show sponsor levels. They are already set at 25, 50, and 75. However, there's an other option. So for example, when I said I wanted to raise $1,000 and hike 50 miles to work off that COVID weight, I'm going to ask my friends and family, hey, could you donate $25 because that's 50 cents a mile towards my campaign. So as you're setting goals, think about ways you can use that other option. You can set up a per mile. You can't put it in there physically, but you can ask your friends and family as you're promoting it, would you sponsor me at 50 cents a mile, $2 a mile, whatever that might be. All right, promoting your cause. I am going to turn the talking over to Tom because I'm sure everybody's sick of seeing my face at this point. Take it away, Tom.
All righty. Thank you, Corey, and good evening, everybody. We have been monitoring the chat, so if you have typed a question into the chat, we will get to that in about 10 or 15 minutes as we get to the end of our presentation. So please stick around to have your question answered, and we will get to all of them as best as we can. So moving on to promoting the cause. So there are a bunch of resources that we are going to put onto the Take a Hike-A-Thon webpage, And they are all there for you guys to utilize throughout the campaign. We're going to have everything there from the most important, which is right now committing your unit to the Hike-A-Thon and registering on one of the red links up there. It says sign up your unit. We're also going to have flyers. There'll be a flyer for your unit, the family flyer to hand out to your families. One is more geared towards your unit participation. The other one's more geared towards a scout or scouter participation and how to work through the campaign. We have some coloring charts there for your scouts so that they can keep track of how far they are along to their goal. And please make that something that you guys bring to your unit meetings, especially if you got some younger scouts who are participating. It's a good way to keep them in check and a fun and engaging way to keep them towards their goal. There will be some tips for the shoe drive that Corey was talking about. So please check for that on the website. We're going to have this webinar will be on there. There'll be promotional videos on there and some how-tos on that. There will be a sample email and script that the scouts can use, which I have a slide come up here momentarily on. There'll be some fillable thank you cards, which I have a slide on as well. And any future hike information, please check back regularly as we put more updates on here. And finally, you can see it on the screen, the wrap up coming soon will change to a clickable link as we get to the end of the campaign. So let's dive in a little bit more into those resources. Corey, if you would. So securing your sponsors for the Hike-A-Thon. So it's fairly easy, and there's many different ways you can do that. It's no longer just go and talk to somebody face-to-face. There's a lot of us that are using social media. There's a lot of us that have these devices pretty much glued to our hip or in our pocket at all times. So we're making this a very easy campaign to get out there to your sponsors. So here's a classic example of an email, which we're going to have up on the webpage for you guys to download. The template is there. Fill in the blue stuff, the blue text, for what works for you, and then send it off to your email contacts. And that could be everybody from your friends and family to coworkers to colleagues, community folks out there, and anybody else in between. And since we're connected globally, go ahead and send that out through social media. When you do get a sponsor, some of the sponsors you might want to thank. Those that are not anonymous and that you know gave to your campaign, to your hike, we will have a thank you card. You can see an example of it there. And on the inside flap, there are two places to put a picture. So please take pictures as you guys are taking your hikes. We have noticed that in the way this fillable PDF works, landscape works best. If you take a portrait style picture with your phone, go ahead and either turn that sideways on your computer to upload it so it fits on there, or crop it so it's a landscape. And then the blue field is for you to type whatever customized text you want to say as your thank you. Things like, thank you so much for sponsoring my hike. I got to hike 5 miles. I went to camp. I got to do X, Y, and Z, which I've never done before. We had a great time. Here's 2 pictures. Thank you so much. And send that off to everybody that you can. So the next one, if you haven't noticed, but we have had it throughout the presentation, there have been slides with a QR code on it. So at the end of this, for those that are live tonight, go ahead and when this is posted on our website, go back through and just check out how those work if you've never used a QR code before. And if you are watching this post live, go ahead and go back and check those out. Those go to the guide. Those go to our webpage to take a hike. And at the end, we want you all to take your phones out and to scan the last page of our slides, which will have your unit registration. It'll take you right to the unit registration form. But if you wanted to test it out, if you've never done it before, if you have your phone in hand, go ahead, grab your phone, open the camera app, or if you already have a QR code reader on your phone, you can open that as well. If this doesn't work with your camera app, there are plenty of free QR code readers you can download from your app or Play Store. And if you scan, if you just put your phone right up, it'll say, take you to this web page. If you click on that, and Corey was showing it, it does go to Paxton's donation page, which is pretty awesome. So that is a way you can put that on all social media. You can put that on, in this case, I put this, it's a 2x3 card. You print them out, 6 per page, cut them, and you can hand it out like a business card to anybody. Keep it clean, keep it simple. And this can go on emails, letters. It can go on posters if you wanted to put posters around town or whatever you guys fancy with this. These are universal, and since the pandemic began, these have cropped up again. They became more popular. As you go to restaurants, you'll see that's how people do their menus now. You don't have a paper menu. It's all QR codes. So to generate your code, once you set up your page, you want to go to a QR code generator. You can download one onto your computer or your phone. You can also just go Google QR code generator. The one we found works best that's free is QR code monkey or QR monkey. and that will get you set up, and it'll work on both iPhones and Androids. Some of them are only one or the other, which we discovered. So check them out. Make sure you test on both platforms, and if they work on both, you're good to go and place it everywhere. There's also opportunities on social media to create your own customized video. So you can put that right onto your webpage. You can say that with social media on Facebook. If you are a TikTok user, whatever platform is comfortable for you, make a short video. We recommend keeping it short and sweet and to the point. No more than maybe 2 minutes long. Put in there why you are taking your hike. People want to know the why of what you are doing, where their sponsorships are going to, and how they can get connected with your sponsorship page. So you want to put at least those 3 things in there and customize and make it individual. Make this unique. And if you have any fun ones, I mean, dress up, get out there, you know, do a green screen, whatever is working for you guys. We want to see some really awesome videos being shared out there. So what does an example of a 4-week campaign look like? It's not that hard. Raise 400 in just 4 easy steps, 1 per week. Week 1, reach out to those closest to you socially. Family, so mom, dad, aunts, uncles, grandparents, any cousins out there, anybody that you're connected in your inner circle of family. On week 2, go ahead and blast out a social media campaign to friends and neighbors. Go knock on doors. You are more than welcome to go around and knock on people's doors during this campaign. Talk to those that are closest in your social network outside of your family. On week number 3, go ahead and reach out to those that are a little bit further away. So schoolmates, teachers, classmates, workmates, anybody that is in that 3rd tier outside of your closest connections. And then week 4, this should be happening every week, but really hit it hard on week 4. Sum everything up on social media. Get out there and hit your 6 degrees of separations, your Kevin Bacon's out there, and get it out on every platform and spread the word. Just like other campaigns we have with our council, we want to see everybody get a sponsorship from all 50 states or maybe even another country. We want to see how far away you guys can reach in your sponsorship and getting somebody to support your hike. And always remember that 50% commission is there. Let people know where their money is going to be going to when they sponsor your hike. So I'm going to pass it off now. We're going to keep ourselves physically strong because we're hiking. So pass this off.
Yeah, that goes back to me. I did want to answer a couple questions real quick too before they're hard to scroll back to. Somebody asked, Joe wanted to know, hey, if you have to hike, could it be a horseback ride or a bike ride? Sure, that's fine. Our campaign's called a hike-a-thon. If you want to make it a bike-a-thon or a horse-a-thon, you are more than you can absolutely do that. I think those are great ideas. Actually, Tom has talked quite a bit about doing a bike-a-thon in the future. I think that's great. Anything that gets people outside and walking and physically strong. Somebody else asked about, hey, if we do our own hike, do we still get a patch? We're going to talk about patches later on. But yes, everybody gets a patch as long as the hike coordinator orders them, and those are free. That's one of the costs associated with the hike-a-thon that we are using with the council portion of funds that come back. All of our council hosted hikes will also include food. However, those patches, we're not going to have them at the event themselves. They're going to be mailed later back to your unit because so many units do their own, and that's perfectly reasonable. Another question I saw was, can one person be the coordinator for 2 units? Absolutely. You just have to sign up each unit individually because your units, so if you're in a pack and a troop, you probably have, there's possibility you even have different chartered organizations, different committees, different committee chairs. But you can, if you're the hike coordinator for both, you just need to sign them up individually so that the funds go back to the appropriate place. And I think some of these other questions are actually going to be answered later on. But somebody did ask, could you set up a different link for each den? You could, instead of having individual people join your team, you could probably set that up as a den option. That's a good question. I hadn't thought about that before. But if you figure out a way that works really well, please email it to me so I can share it with other people. This is, last year was the first year that we did this, and we learned a lot from it, and we're continuing to learn. All right, so talk a little bit about the council hike options. So we're doing 3 this year, Rotary, Gerber, and Barre Scout Ranch. Each of our camps have different abilities to offer different things. So the registrations for these hikes they're not up yet, but when they're released, we will send them to the hike coordinators in an email. And we're going to give you a code so that you can register for free to attend. And again, it includes lunch. And every camp is going to offer different activities. The registration will outline what activities they have beyond a hike. A lot of that just depends on what staff and volunteers they have committed to that weekend. So some of them might be able to offer shooting sports. I think that Gerber does a really good job doing a geocaching program with theirs. So that will all be outlined. But the reason we want to give you that code to sign up for free is because we're going to offer this activity to units who didn't participate in the hike-a-thon if they want to come out, but there will be a cost associated with theirs. But since you guys are participating in the hike-a-thon campaign, there's no fee. So those are the council hosted ones, or again, you can do your own hikes. Here's some information on units who participated last year. Pack 263 out of Chief Okemos District participated in the D-Bar-A Scout Ranch one, and their hike coordinator reported back to us that this campaign was helpful because some of our scouts were able to raise money to help pay for their camp registrations. Troop 337B out of Ojibwe District, they came out to Camp Rotary last year. And they said their camp was able to camp for the whole weekend because, as you know, our campsites are free year-round at all of our council camps for registered units. So they made a weekend of it, and they said they were really glad it was set up for them. So they didn't have to do any of the planning. They had a lot of younger scouts, and they were able to just show up and go and have some fun. Troop 189 out of Pondman District, they took it to an extreme. They actually planned 3 individual hikes that they sent pictures on. They did a hike in the boonies. They did one at D-Bar-A Scout Ranch. And then they also did the Chief Pontiac Trail, which are all really awesome other options out there. And looks like they had a lot of fun. Troop 1589G in North Star District, they did 2 different courses totaling 18 miles, and they worked a lot of advancement into their program. So their hike coordinator told us that this campaign had the ability to accommodate lots of outdoor activities that also allowed us to work on merit badges at the same time. Our scouts really enjoyed the activities, even though some did not participate in the fundraising portion of it. So their unit took advantage of the program and in a lot of ways besides fundraising. So that was a fantastic idea. So our MCC hike dates, we're going to provide you a lunch. And again, like I mentioned earlier, other activities contingent on state COVID restrictions at the time and what exactly each camp is able to do. But you can count on it being a lot of fun and there being other things to do than just walking. If you do host your own hike, don't forget to talk to your scouts about the 6 essentials, making sure that they hike safely and plan a safe route. And then as far as advancement's concerned, there's lots of ways to incorporate advancement into your own hikes. At the Cub Scout level, wolves and bears actually have an advancement requirement for a 1-mile hike. So this would be a really great den activity. Weeblos have a 3-mile hike advancement piece under the Weeblos walkabout pin or belt loop. And then, of course, Scouts BSA Adventuring and Exploring. There's all kinds of things that you can combine in your handbooks with this activity. To help other people at all times, we are also sneaking in a little bit of service into this. So our 3 council-sponsored hikes, we will have a shoe drive again this year. I think RA filled up my car last year with shoes. We like to partner with Footprints of Michigan. They serve the whole state. They're based out of Lansing, and they are always looking for new or gently used footwear of all types You know, I get asked all the time, do you want boots? Do you want flip-flops? Do you want baby shoes? The answer is yes. It does help if you pre-bundle them together somehow, whether you tie the laces together or clip them together. But you can bring those to each of our council-sponsored hikes to drop off. If you still decide to do the service project, even though you are not coming to one of those camps, you could just drop it off at the camp before the hike for us, or you can contact Footprints of Michigan yourself and talk to them about how to get those shoes over to them. On our website, on the Take a Hike, michiganscouting.org/take-a-hike, there is a flyer down here that has more information about the shoe drive that you can print off and hand out to your unit. All right, Tom, I'm turning it over to you for the campaign wrap up.
Excellent. Thank you, Corey. So it's May 31st. You guys, the donation system has closed down. We're getting towards the end of the hikes. You may have conducted your own hike or participated in one of our council ones or an upcoming one in early June. But June 15th is our hard cutoff for everything to be completed. The hikes will be done at our council camps at that point. So as we get near June 15th or by June 15th, the wrap-up button will be live. So we're asking you guys to please report that by June 15th. So if you're having your hike a little bit late, you might have a small amount of time to turn that around. But that link will go live as we near the end of the campaign. And what we're asking you guys to record for us is the total number of miles that were hiked, total number of shoes that you collected. And so I see that Rob Keene has asked, can we collect shoes at an individual hike and drop off? Absolutely. That ties perfectly into knowing how many shoes you guys collected for the shoe drive. The total number of participant patches, which are for everybody who participated, no matter how many miles they hiked or how much was raised through their sponsorships. And then we also wanted to know the number of super hiker patches that your scouts or scouters have achieved. So for the Cub Scout program, it's $200 per participant minimum. And then for the older scout programs, that's $400 to get the additional super hiker patch. Please complete our brief survey that will be on there. We want to know how we can do things better, faster, more efficiently, what worked, what didn't work, where we should stop, start, continue kind of things. And then please share your photos so that next year at this time, where we're doing year 3 and kicking everything off, your unit can be the one that we're showcasing on our kickoff. So speaking of patches, I was going to bring in my really awful 1,000-mile boot versus my newer boots to show you guys exactly what those look like in real life. But the participation patch is a well-worn, well-hiked-in boot. It even has a hole in the toe box there, just because we've been hiking so much, the tread's wearing out. So that's the participation patch. And if you do that $200 at a Cub Scout level or $400 sponsorship at the older youth level, then you can also earn the super hiker patch. It comes with even fancy stars around your boot because it is brand new. You might need to break that in a little bit. It's that new of a boot patch. So those are our patches this year. We know how many of you guys love to collect patches. And these are probably going to be on the rare side because not a lot of people participated last year. So we were hoping that these can be given out more this year than they were last year. So they're not going to be a patch you're going to see commonly out there, but we hope you guys will change that.
And Tom, I wanted to add, so we're going to mail these out in June after you've clicked the wrap up button. Last year, it took a long time for units to get their patches. We definitely had a supply issue in patch ordering last year. Things were on back order for quite a while, but we seem to have worked through all of that with our patch companies. They've been turning them around much quicker, but it's hard to order them when we don't know how many to order. So it's very important to make sure that when you wrap up, you put that information in there. We did have some units last year who said, I forgot to do that. Can we still get them? But because of the cost of them, we'll order a couple extra here and there in case we have a goof up somewhere, but we don't order them in bulk or anything. You're not going to find them for sale in the scout shop later on.
Absolutely. So Corey, if you want to just hang on those patches for a second there. As we're wrapping things up, please continue typing your questions into the chat. We're going to try to answer a few that we've seen pop up on this slide here. So timeline in terms of when your unit's going to receive its commission, that's going to be coming in the mail. It's going to be mailed to your committee chair. And I know we had a question, and maybe Corey or Sean might be able to answer if somebody else other than the committee chair will be able to receive that. Right now, it's set up to go to your committee chair. those will go timeline-wise. We understand that the down payments and final payments for summer camp are going to be due before this campaign concludes, which is why we want you guys to, we're emphasizing you can use these funds. It's unrestricted to whatever your unit needs. So while it may not help you guys pay for camp this year, it can help to go towards other programs, other events that are coming up in the future, or start planning for summer camp 2023. It's what you guys as a unit want to utilize that for. And we answered when the patch is going to be coming back. So yes, so please be patient. As Corey said, we have no clue what the supply chain is going to look like in July, and it's a mess right now. Try buying a deep freezer like I tried to today, and it's not until August that you can get them delivered. So, Corey, can we get an answer maybe a little bit about that committee chair? Is that something we'll be able to answer on this presentation?
Yeah, they that's an internal practice. Things go to the committee chair because that's who's in charge of those things for your unit. That's what we do with popcorn checks as well. We did have a couple instances last year where there was a family emergency, committee chair was in the hospital out of the country, and they never, the unit was never able to get their check from their committee chair. So if that ends up happening, just contact me. We were able to cancel those checks and resend them out, making sure that we follow the proper policies to get it to the right person. There were a couple other good questions I saw. Somebody asked, what if a scout is in 2 units? So maybe you're in a troop and a crew. Can you participate in both? You can. There isn't a way to have one profile that goes to 2 units. There's no way to set that up on the back end, and it would be very complicated with making sure the funds get sent correctly to the correct places. So it might be easier for them to choose one unit, or they can join both teams and promote both links and let people make the choice which one they are donating to. But on the super hiker patch part, that would be something you'd have to work out between the 2 units if you were going to count their funds in both places. Somebody said, are we able to see how much each scout raised? Yep, we talked about that earlier at the beginning of the webinar in the Hike Coordinator Guide, which is on our website. It shows you a couple different ways to do that on the visible screen of your unit. But you can also, twice a month, we're going to be emailing out a list to the hike coordinators. You'll have to sort it and filter it yourself to find your scouts, and you'll have to do some math adding them up, but we will have a list of this donation was tied to this person, because remember, scouts and adults can participate in this. So I don't know if any of the super hikers we had last year, I'm pretty sure they were all youth, but I'd love to see some adults on there.
Hey, Corey, I'm going to take a few as well.
Sure.
So thank you, Sarah. I appreciate the shout out for Jamboree. So high adventure trips absolutely are a great way to utilize the funds that your unit raises during this campaign. And Corey, if you want to advance to the next slide so that we're on the QR code there. So we're going to leave the concluding slide up there in case you guys want to whip out your phone again and read that QR code. That will take you to your unit registration page. Don't click out of it, Corey.
I didn't mean to.
There you go. So Chad was asking, so how do the donations work per se, and is it per mile? So we don't have it set up where you say, hey, okay, I'm going to do this per mile. But if you guys wanted to do the fundraiser like that, you can put that in the text of your web page that they go to, of your donation page. Certainly, personally, I'm also participating. I want to do 100 miles, which is the distance from my house to Gerber Scout Reservation and back. I want to do that from March 1st.
What? 100 miles? You're just trying to beat me.
I am not trying to beat you. I tend to try to walk at least 2 miles a day. So I'm just going to up that game a little bit and do daily hikes around my yard, the park down the street, and then on weekends try to kick it in a little bit. And I might put some bike miles in there too, but I'll do a 5 mile or 1 mile bike to walk ratio. So if you break that down for me, my goal is to raise $5 a mile. So I put 500 as my goal. So that's on my webpage if you're to find me. So by all means, do it per mile, do it per 10 miles, do it per donation level, up to you guys. But the system's not going to do a little calculation for you. You have to do that math on your own, unfortunately. So for fundraising, can we do one account if a family has more than one scout? That's very similar to the den question. Can you do a den instead of one individual scout? The way that the web page allowed me to set it up and allowed Corey to set it up, it asks for your name. So you could just put a family name in there, and it just needs an email and phone number. And then after that, it's set up. So in theory, the web page could allow you to do that instead of an individual, just put in your family name. But like Corey said, if the den one works, try it as a family. So Sabrina, give it a shot. If it works, email us and let us know that it is allowing you to do that. So a great question, Corey. I think I'm going to pass this one off to you with your enthusiasm for it. What is our council goal in terms of participation and sponsorships raised this year?
Sure. Sorry, I keep clicking around my chat. I keep trying to open the chat and it won't let me. It just changes the slides when I do that. So I apologize for that. The council goal, our overall goal is $80,000 with half of that, of course, going back to the units. And then the other half going to our camp scholarship programs and camp maintenance programs. Obviously, we also we use those funds to cover the cost of this actual program using our mobile cause platform, ordering patches, mailing them out, and buying food for the hikes.
So Corey, and we have a question from Dave. It's back earlier in the chat. Talking about VOA and district level and covering maybe the cost of district dinners and roundtables. Dave, I think we're going to have to get an answer of your question offline, and we'll probably need to reach back out to you with what we find out, unless Corey or Sean has an option.
Nope, this event, this council hosted event, was voted on by the board for us to do, and the funds that we raise are specifically for our camp programs. All of your district events, district dinner, things like that should be self-sustaining through your the budgets that you set earlier in the year with it. So if you wanted to do something different, talk to your district executive. But for this campaign, that is what they are going to. I saw another one.
Chad said, just confirming, not per mile, just flat sponsorships. We could hike 1 mile or 100 miles, and it wouldn't matter. So that's basically yes. No matter the distance that you're planning on hiking, your goal is to raise the sponsorships to the goal that you guys set as a monetary goal. If you want to set a mileage goal or a per mile goal, that is up to you. But the system set up for flat sponsorships.
Yeah, I think it's just
on your end, but on our end, the system will take the outright.
It's more fun and easier for the scouts to remember. I am trying to hike 10 miles and, would you sponsor me at $1 per mile, Grandma? It's easier for them to understand and break up what their goal is if they advertise it that way. But the mobile cause platform doesn't allow us to set a per mile goal. So that's all in how you advertise it and market it yourselves.
Sabrina was offline when we answered her question. So quickly to re-answer Sabrina's question, just like we talked about with the den, the system allowed me, when I put it in, I just put my name, first, last, phone, email, and then I set up my page. So you might be able to put the blank family as the two names. And as long as you have an email and phone associated, you should be able to do that as a page. But Sabrina, give it a shot. And if it works and you got people getting in there and giving sponsorships, please share that with Corey, Dan, and myself, and we would love to see how that worked. So Corey threw her email in there. I will also do the same, and Dan will do the same. So Corey is kind of the overall on our committee here, and then I cover the President Ford division, and Dan covers the Great Lakes division. We had a couple other panelists that unfortunately were not able to join us, but they're more on the program and camp side of things. But we are the three professionals. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to the three of us. Our information is also, if it's not already on, it will be on the webpage, so you guys can find our information there as well.
Somebody asked earlier, I keep trying to find it again, and they asked, can our funds be used for camp? And absolutely, you decide as your unit committee what you want to use your funds for. You can set a unit goal based on, if you're trying to take a high adventure trip as a unit, or you really need to buy new tents. I know I saw recently a troop trying to raise money because their troops trailer was stolen, and they're trying to refurbish that. That's something you need to decide as a unit what you would like to do. Because of the timeline of the campaign, if you are going to camp at a Scouts BSA camp, your camp fees will actually be due before we're able to issue those checks. Certainly Cub Scout packs, it's much easier for you to be able to use the funds as soon as you get them to register for camp. But maybe you use those funds to reimburse families if that's something that you do for camp. But you really need to decide as a unit committee what it is that you're doing. And remember, this is a unit fundraiser, so it doesn't go back to individual people. But if you have some type of an internal system that you're using to designate funds to specific youth, you can certainly do that.
So we'll give another 60 seconds for any further questions. I personally want to throw out the challenge. I have thrown it out to my Lakeshore district, which is the district that I cover as a district executive. And I challenged the Equal Spirit district over here to meet the Lakeshore challenge. But we're challenging every unit in Lakeshore district to have at least 2 scouts hit the super hiker patch level, or 2 scouters. It could be a scout or a scouter. Remember, all participants, it's adult and youth. If every unit did that in every district, that $80,000 goal that Corey was talking about, that will come so quickly and so easily that our camps will be so thankful for what you guys are able to do this year. So thankful.
And, we mentioned earlier that this is only the second time we've done this. And we want to grow it and make it easier for everyone every year. So if you come across things that work really well for your unit, share it with us so that we can share it for other people. All of the attachments on our website came from your feedback on the survey last year of things that you'd like to have. Somebody said, man, I have this all-girl den, and we would really like an all-girl coloring sheet. That's why there's a boy one and a girl one. Somebody asked for that. Someone said last year, hey, the information on the webinar was great, but then I didn't have anything to turn around and give back to my unit. That's why we have Dan helped come up with a flyer template that's on the website where you can download it and fill out your own information, your own unit goal, your own timelines for things, and print it and pass it out to your unit. So a lot of the verbiage is already there for you. But if you have an amazing idea that worked well, please share it so that we can modify it and stick it online and let everybody use it. The thank you card idea also came from surveys last year. People said we really wanted to have something to give to the people that we knew. So please share with us. This was a unique program that somebody came to us last year and said, we'd really like you to try this because, man, with the pandemic, our unit just wasn't able to fundraise like we were last year. What can you do where money does not pass hands, where we don't have to touch people, we don't have to be close together? And the Hike-A-Thon certainly helped with all of that, with it all being online and the result being getting outdoors in a way where you could do it just as your unit if you needed to. So that's really where the idea came from, and we just want to make it better every year. So you can be as elaborate and over the top with it as you want to, or you can be very, very simple and say, we're just going to share our link online and see what happens and go to a council hike. Totally up to you.
Wonderful. Well, we promised you guys exactly 1 hour. It is 8 o'clock on the nose. So thank you guys so much for attending this evening. I want to say a shout out to Kristen, who just said thank you for organizing this again this year. You're welcome. We're here for you guys. We're here to give you the support you need as you go out throughout this campaign. So from all of us here, from Corey, Dan, Chris, and Sean, and myself, we will see you out on the hiking trails, and have a great campaign and have a great evening.